Hey, this is Tony Cook, and in the news today, another run of Broadway Limited 4-axle EMD. You guys in the 1960s EMDs, I love them, I love them, I love them. And you've done SD40s, SD45s, GP30, GP35s. I think I have Jeep 35s on the cover of maybe March's Model Railroad News, or Jeep
Yeah.
30s. I forget which. I've been bombarded with them lately. They're awesome. Today we're going to look at, you guys have turned around and you've got another group of Jeep 35s coming.
Yeah, and lots of different versions. We were talking in another video, Tony, about the different patched versions. So we're bringing those versions to the GP35s as well. Also, we're offering more road numbers because there were several different variations of the 35 series. We'll get more into that in a second. But starting off with the Santa Fe, as you can see here, we're doing the 1300 series. We're offering two road numbers there, 1317 and 1342. For those of you guys who would like the 3300 version of these locomotives, we're offering 3338 and 3346. All again with road specific details for the Santa Fe per the prototype during that time period. So these will be great additions to your 1960s, 70s era Santa Fe layouts, especially in the bookend scheme, which is such a cool scheme too. Yeah, different variations for you. And of course, in Paragon 4 sound, we'll talk about one of the units that we recorded the sound off of a little bit later on, but accurate sounds for GP35s. And we're excited to bring these to both Paragon 4 sound and in stealth too.
Nice to see both the numbers. That's you start looking and doing research and you find out, like I think Santa Fe in the late 60s did that renumbering. So they by the time they got this whole big fleet of Jeep 35s in the 1300 series, boom, and they turn around and start renumbering them. Then later in the 70s, they get yellow bonnet paint. So there's so many differences. If you're going for a certain era, it can be a challenge. So this is nice that you guys have basically covered all the freight war bonnet or yellow bonnet look, which came in August of 72. So you kind of have, and these ones are in the 33 numbering series mixed with, yellow bonnet repaints. I've seen pictures like 1979 of some of these still in 3300 numbers. Always popular B&O chassis system. Nice. It's fun to see.
Chassis system. I think chassis system has such an underrated paint scheme. Just me personally, I love the yellow and the blue from what you get from like the C&O and B&O days, but that orange stripe adds a nice touch to it as well. And then of course you got the chassis cat on the side, and everybody loves a chassis cat. And those classic ads that they had back in the day too. Just classic, iconic 4-axle diesels, commonly found throughout the chassis system. And then the next slide we got here too is the actual CSX patch version. So once the official merger happened, before they were able to develop their first paint scheme for CSX, they just patched it temporarily. So here we got the patch version 2, another alternate version for you if you have a era of chassis system that you model and you want to get some patch stuff instead of going through the extra work of adding all those extra decals and stuff. We have it for you. So keeping it plain and simple for you.
Nice. And yeah, as you can see, it's got that slightly lighter color, which I remember seeing a lot of Jeep 30s for some reason. I had a friend that went to Purdue University, and I was in kind of the St. Louis areas where I was growing up at the time in the 80s when all this was happening. And I remember some CSX line through there that we would see, and they'd be patched. I remember seeing a lot of Jeep 30s patched like this. So yeah, that's a classic, neat look. Wow. Now this one, not only is it Canadian Pacific, which is cool, those Canadian guys model like nobody else.
I know, and they're very loyal.
Wow. I mean, I think you can walk into a convenience store in Canada and I need a lottery ticket, 5-hour energy drink, and give me a pack of knuckle couplers. I mean, that's how common I think model railroading is in Canada. It's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. And they're very loyal, and they are really notorious for wanting those specific details on their Canadian stuff. So we got the high step versions there on the CP. And I love this paint scheme too, the maroon and gray. It looks so cool with the yellow striping. And we got two different variations on this too. We've got the 5000 series. And then we've also got the earlier version where the actual road number, when it was 8200 series, was below that maroon striping too. So there's the early with the road number below that maroon striping and yellow text and font there. And then the version 2 that you were just showing is the 5000 series there. 5003 and 5010
Wow.
are the two road numbers that are available for you there too.
And remember, these are not, for years we've seen stuff painted CP Rail or CN, and they're, yeah, it's a Jeep 35 or it's a Jeep 30, but yeah, these are the real deal. Look at if you look at the rear headlight is not there between the number boards. It's up high like it's supposed to be. There's a bell between the number boards up front. It's got
Mm-hmm.
that neat kind of rock pilot, thing on the front. This is a real legit, as you've done on the others. I think you're like your SD40s. I remember seeing the CN and they're amazing to see, because at first you think, well, it's not that much different until you have a real model that knocks it out like this. And it's like, wow,
Yeah.
these are neat. Yeah.
And CP guys will be the first to tell you, like, wait, you forgot this, or you need this to make it 100% accurate. So we've listened to the CP guys, and we hope that they will enjoy these models, especially these earlier versions. I know a lot of people have asked us about the Pac-Man version of those paint schemes, and that might be an option for a future run, but we haven't offered this particular scheme in a while. And we know that there's a lot of CP modelers out there who do model that late 50s, early 60s, where some of these F units on their passenger trains were painted like that as well. So those will be a great alternative for the freight side of things if they're looking for some good 4-axle power to have to handle their freight duties. Yeah, these are going to be great models. And like I said, the two different variations, so you can pick and choose which one suits you the best. It's going to be awesome for these guys. And again, just another variation that we're adding into more of these 4-axle road locomotives.
Really sharp, really sharp. I really like this one too. Yeah, this I've sent you, by the way, on and you'll be look for Broadway Limited on Facebook. I sent Curtis a big group of Kevin Udaley's slides,
Yes.
scans of some of these, and I've got a neat shot of, it looks like Rock Island either delivering them or they were brand new, with Rock Island unit and like 3 of these Jeep 35s. So this is a non-dynamic Chicago Northwestern. Boy, Northwestern's another. Some of those Granger roads, and I know you're a Chicago guy, so
Yeah.
you're probably a fan yourself. But boy, some of those like Milwaukee Northwestern, people are just, they're rabid modelers. They love
They are,
these.
and
Yeah.
it's really cool to see, because some of those, growing up in Chicago, I saw a lot of these during their later years when they were still somewhat working in the C&W service. In fact, where I grew up, one of them was used as a local power for switching a couple of industries out in the suburb I grew up in. So it was cool to see those old 4-axle power. Same with like the SW 1500s that Northwestern had, just iconic 4-axle EMD diesels. EMD just dominated the locomotive market for those earlier years, and for us to have the C&W version and to mix it in with some of the other road names in the Granger schemes and stuff like that, it's awesome. C&W is one of those road names too, where we can actually, probably the most successful Midwestern road name that we get pretty
Yes. Yeah.
often. So yeah, we're excited for those.
Simplified Empire Builder. This is the tail end of Great Northern. These, would have come just ahead of the mid 60s Big Sky Blue. So
Yeah.
this is a nice, very neat look. And this is another one. There's the BN patch. And I like that you guys also knocked out, and this is something I noticed a lot on slides, that when they would do the patch, you see the Great Northern Rocky the Goat under the cab, and boom,
Yep.
gone.
Yep.
And it's something, maybe at first I remember not noticing that or thinking had it faded off or whatever, but it does seem like they peeled the heralds off a lot of those as they patched them for these early 70s looks. So again, sharp that what in the GP30s you can get a BN patched version of the red Burlington, and then you match it up with this to have an early 70s kind of consist of patched BN. Really neat.
Yeah,
neat that
and
this
it
is
works
in
well
here.
together with several other different versions that we've done of the simplified Empire Builder. We've got SD45s coming out later on this year with the Empire Builder, a simplified Empire Builder scheme. So if you want to stick to true Great Northern before pre-merger, you can get that simplified Empire Builder scheme, and it'll look great right at home. But if you wanted to do, like you were saying, Tony, the early 70s version, right as the mergers were taking place, the little details like you were mentioning of the goat being the patch of the goat being missing and everything, those are the little extra details that we do in the research when it comes to the paint stuff, because there's so many other details when it comes to the actual car body, but nobody really will notice. Keen eye, I should say, modelers will notice the little things like no goat herald and no this and no that. So it's cool to bring those unique alternatives to these locomotives. And again, these locomotives, the patched versions that we're doing for the CSX, for the chassis, and here with the BN, these are so unique that we think those are going to go quick. So if you haven't gotten your order in yet, there you go. You got some mixture of Chinese red and the simplified Empire Builder there. So if you haven't put your order in yet, please do so. It's the best way. Putting in a pre-order is the best way to guarantee that you're going to get the model that you want. So if this is a model that you want, go ahead and get it in as soon as you can. And while you're at it, if you're getting the simplified Great Northern Empire Builder with the BN patch, get the BN patched Burlington GP30, and they'll fit right at home on your layout.
There, yeah. And then you've got a couple of exclusives in this run, I believe. Correct?
So
there's
this
a
is
high
Conway
hood.
Scenic. Yeah, so this is Conway Scenic 216, one of the high hoods we're offering. When we went and recorded the sounds for these GP35s, Conway was gracious enough to let us record in the middle of winter, which is usually their downtime. And they fired up the 216 for us. And in return, we said that we would make a model of it. And so this is exclusively through Conway Scenic. If you're looking to purchase one of these, if you're a big Conway Scenic fan, which I know there are a lot of guys out there who love Conway Scenic, these will be available through Conway's website. So you can go to Conway Scenic Railway's website and you can purchase it there, put in a pre-order. And ditch lights, both sides, just like how the prototype is today.
I saw that. Yeah, nice.
Coming just off of the Locomotive 2. So you're really going to get the most authentic Conway Scenic locomotive to date in a GP35 form. And of course, with the herald on the front and rear ends of the nose there, these are just great variations of these 4-axle EMDs to get. And like I said, if you're a Conway Scenic guy, get your order in too, because we expect the exclusives like these to go pretty fast.
To go pretty quick. And speaking of exclusives, I saw Smokebox Graphics. I just got his 70-ton, his home road hoppers that you guys did, that 3-bay hopper, and it was neat, and I was surprised to see it. And I believe that this is another, isn't it? This is what, Tuscola and Saginaw Bay?
Yeah, so this is another Michigan short line. A lot of Michigan guys love their short lines up there. There's a lot of different variations up there, and so they love their short lines. And Stephen Wilder and their crew at Smokebox Graphics wanted to do this exclusive. And they are also offering, besides the painted version you see here, Tony, they are also offering an undecorated version with the details for the TSBY versions. So if you wanted to get creative, add your own paint to it, or do something different, you can get the undecorated version through them as well. We're doing both Paragon 4 and Stealth with these. So if you're looking to add to your motive power, I know short lines are a little bit unique, but there's always run through power of different variations. So if you want to add something unique to your railroad, you can contact them at Smokebox. Again, go to their website, Smokebox Graphics, and they'll be able to hook you up with one of those when they come in.
Wow, some neat stuff. And then those couple of exclusives. Wow. So these were just announced at the beginning of March. Give us the lowdown on how long have we got to start making excuses for our budget, and what's the dog not going to get treat-wise so I can order another one of these. So what's the deadline for reservation, and when do we expect maybe to see these ship?
Again, we're shooting for the summer of this year, 2024, hopefully in July, August range is what we're typically aiming for. The order deadline for these will be June 23rd of this year. So you have plenty of time between now and by the time they come out to get your order in. So if you haven't seen or want to see more information, you can go to our website, broadway-limited.com. That's where is the best place you can get your information on these models, the specific details, get a little bit close-up view of the artwork, and that sort of thing. And if you, again, see anything on that you want to point out that needs to be possibly corrected, let us know ASAP so we can look at that. And like going back to the video we recorded about the GP30s, if there's any details like that you want to see that we can make any tweaks to, let us know so we can do that. But the best way, again, to guarantee the model you want is to get your pre-order in. So you got now until June. So you got plenty of time to enjoy the rest of your spring and get a head start on summer ordering if you're looking to add to your collection of any kind. But yeah, these 4-axle Jeeps are going to be awesome to any Mahler's railroad. So we're excited for those to come out again.
They are beautiful. I've got them on the cover of the March 2024, I believe, Model Railroad News. Also, while you're at Broadway's website, I want to tell everybody to get on the Broadway flyer, sign up for Curtis's newsletter. The question and answer part is, I mean, there's plenty of new release information, but the question and answer thing, I always find interesting stuff that I didn't know. And then also the Conductors Club. Take a look at it. That's a whole thing. We talked about it. If you know Ray or not, it's around the Layout podcast. Curtis was a guest recently. You can look for that where you find your podcasts, and we talk about it there. And again, it's on Broadway's website. So Conductors Club and the Broadway Flyer newsletter, check both of those out. Curtis, thanks so much for your time today. I know you're a busy guy. We're going to let you get back to things, and I'm going to start deciding how many of these I got to have.
Let me know how many you need. We'll get to it. Thanks for having me, Ray. Appreciate it.
Thanks a lot. And that's what's in the news today. Broadway Limited GP35s.